a little Iron Maiden to get the juices flowing so we can hulk up because, well, we're one of the few radio outlets, one of the few alternative folks that actually go out there and do live broadcasts just like the old days. You know, a lot of these internet stations are situated in someone's mother's basement, and but not us. You know, we bring the I've been called at one point the most legitimate person in alternative media, and so we're out here, we're live.
Does that hurt you when people say
that? That does hurt my feelings, yeah, I really. They were trying to compliment me, and I took it as an insult, actually. Well, we are broadcasting live from the 2015, the first ever Rhode Island Cannabis Convention. Still a big day ahead today if you can make it down at 4 p.m. I actually just walked through the medical marijuana entrepreneurship and employment session that's going on right now. A lot of great talk going on down there. Today at 4 o'clock, Marijuana as Medicine, a panel going on. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, Sativa, the great debate. A full day of events tomorrow on Sunday, May 17th. Of course, we'll be here broadcasting live on RI, freeradio.org. It'll be myself. It'll be the PO taxpayer. I just saw the PO taxpayer wandering around like an Alzheimer's patient, so I'm sure he'll
sundowning. It's getting late in the day.
I'm sure he'll be back here pretty soon. I am joined by Dave Fisher from the Coalition. Of course, you can go to coalitionradio.us. Not only do you get the podcast, but also, Dave, over at coalitionradio.us, a lot of great blog content.
Well, I'm known as the grenade thrower over at Coalition. I take on any and all political comers. If you're gonna, as we say in Woonsocket, talk isht, I will call you out. I will do the research, and I will have my numbers.
Which, by the way, we were talking about Google Analytics earlier, and I had mentioned that someone was Googling Tony Jones RI naked, and it was leading them to my website. As I was doing some other analytics, when someone Googles luxury chicken coop, they are brought to coalitionradio.us.
That is true. One of my more satirical blog pieces was over the seemingly inane discussion we were having in the city of Woonsocket politically about whether or not to let people keep chickens in their backyards, which seems like a very innocuous issue, but it just dragged on.
Unless the chickens are there as sex slaves, then it's a total different issue.
But it dragged on for months and months, and it basically gave us in the city of Woonsocket the most expensive and onerous chicken keeping ordinance in New England for any city or town. So for the privilege of having chickens, you can pay the city of Woonsocket $350 for the privilege of keeping up to 6 hens in your backyard for egg production. No roosters. Setback requirements, hearings before the zoning board of review for your chicken coop, which led me to my, again, satirical post on the luxury chicken coops now available in the city of Woonsocket.
You know, we talk about civic involvement a lot on this program and on RI Free Radio, and part of the reason that people don't want to get involved in real politics, which start on the town level, is because of things like that.
It's the inanity. Give someone an inch and they think they're a ruler. I mean, the zoning board in Woonsocket is the most moribund government agency. There you go, folks. There's your vocab word for the day, moribund. It just they draw a lot of water, and they exercise a lot of power over people's lives and livelihoods, and they relish it.
And there's unfortunately people that get involved at that level simply because they get their jollies from pushing people around.
Yeah, I think it comes down to codified bullying, basically. Yeah. It really does. So on that note, we're going to shift away from bashing our local governments and probably get into bashing our state government a little bit more. My
tires at my car at home are getting slashed as we speak.
Mark Ward, who is the executive director of the Rhode Island chapter of NORML, which is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Law. NORML, obviously not afraid of that word marijuana. I know people are trying to change the nomenclature.
Not afraid. Well, the thing is, Norcal just does not sound as good. So, I think we're going to keep with normal for now.
Which a lot of people don't realize that, maybe I shouldn't mention this while we're broadcasting here, but I remember being a young man and getting a hold of one of my father and my grandfather's Playboy magazines from the 70s, and in it was an ad for Normal. Normal's been around for a long time.
Yes. Since the 70s, they have had the chapters. That was Keith Stroop who originated Normal, and we're carrying that on, about 2 years strong now for Rhode Island.
So I know we've talked about this before, but given the overwhelming rate of regular marijuana use here in Rhode Island, it always struck me as odd that Rhode Island is one of kind of the last states on the boat as far as having a local chapter for Normal.
It is very strange. I think that people were kind of at a point where they didn't think it was necessary until it came into actual legality. Once it was illegal, when it was totally illegal in all capacities, I don't think they really saw it necessary to have a Normal chapter. Now that they actually have the laws and the lawmakers, and these laws are being made, now they're like, yes, we need that help. Thank you very much. Please, give us a little bit of a hand.
Right, and kind of being involved in this for quite a number of years now. For about 10 years now, I think people have said, well, I don't really need to get involved hardcore on the political front because this is the year. There's so many people for this, and it's going to pass. And that was 10 years ago, and people have said it every year since then.
Every year since, yes. Yeah.
Well, and you've seen that. You saw it with the same-sex marriage issue in this state where, for 15 I know people that have been fighting that fight for 15 years, guys like Frank Ferry. Who, it took like kind of the whole national organization descending on the state of Rhode Island to push legislators, to push the public, to push, our courts. And I think we're seeing that in Rhode Island where the folks who are really pushing for legalization here, like yourself, like Jared Moffat, are understanding the power of that national network.
Correct. Well, I mean, if we don't have that national connection, then we really don't have any sway over what's going on. Even though it is something that's done state to state, we really need to move this as a full motion, as a full action. If we don't have that collaboration, it's not going to be done properly. It really can't be. We need all that backing from everyone to just stand up and really make their move, And that's so Rhode Island right now, we're lucky enough where we do have a state where our numbers are very cannabis friendly, but we need more active members of different organizations such as Regulate Rhode Island, such as Normal, or just people in the community that aren't afraid to stand up and talk about it.
Yeah. The people who would rather, buy a $20 bag than a six-pack.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, we have people now. We're just talking to a coach for a little league team. And he was saying that he messed up a bone in his leg. I believe it was his femur. I'm not exactly sure which bone. But he really was being pushed to take medications. He was really actually felt like he was being pushed to take medications. And he had a conversation with his children because he didn't want them upset because it is still considered one narcotic. He had to have a serious conversation with his children and say, this is the type of medication I'd like to try. And see what their thoughts on it were. Their children respected that. His children respected that so much, and we're very happy with him because I think even children nowadays know all the problems that we have in this state with recreational pharmaceutical use.
Right.
All that all that can be cleared away with something that this gentleman chose for his medication. Just took a little bit of courage to talk to his family, talk to whoever he needed to, and now he doesn't have to take these pills that most likely he'd have some dependency on after a little while, you know what I mean? And that's what we really have to be concentrating now on is making this information present for our people and for not just for adults, but also children need to be educated on the changes that are happening because they're still being told this is bad, but why is it okay here? They just kind of see it. They're not told why. You know what I mean? So that education is very important right now.
Right. And I hate drawing the comparisons between cannabis, marijuana, whatever you want to call it, and alcohol because let's be honest, folks. Find me a medicinal use of alcohol besides man, I had a really lousy day at work and I need a couple of brews to chill out after work.
That's pretty much it. I mean, as far as, being clumsy and forgetful, I don't think that's really a cure for anything. You know what I mean? I really don't see any value whatsoever. And the whole reason why this is a Schedule 1 narcotic is because supposedly there was no medicinal value, correct? So then what's going on? Why hasn't that changed? Why are we calling it a medication for some people and even longer for anybody who has been in politics or anything like that? If they're high upstanding in politics, they've had
Bob Watson.
Little metal canisters mailed to their door pretty much. But it's only called the medicine if they have that backing, that government backing with that money.
Right.
It's not going to be that way for long. We can't let it be that way for much longer.
And frankly, if we're going to allow people to self-medicate with alcohol, why should we not be giving them the same option to self-medicate with
There's no logical
marijuana?
reasoning. There is no logical reasoning whatsoever, except for the powers that be have to figure out where they can make their money first.
So one of the things, despite all the great guests we've had on the podcast today, one thing that we haven't really touched on is this idea of marijuana as gateway drug.
As a